Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back with another live stream of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, November 22nd. So tomorrow is the US Thanksgiving Day. So being as the stream is this way, maybe we'll get lucky and get more than just the two that we should get done as far as daily quests. We have a new Tavern Brawl that will probably mess up that idea. These two overlap, so let's trade this one with the so now win 5 Tavern Brawls, play the Shaman, play Shaman cards. We could get all 3 of those done and that might work. Let's also do a quick check here to see if perhaps the Cobalt cards are viewable in crafting mode. No, they aren't. I imagine they won't be at all. Last time this happened, they weren't viewable until like right the day before or something, if I'm remembering things correctly. Let's see if the shop's changed any while we're here. Yep. This $50 pre-order bonus, man. Spend $50 on a brand new AAA title game or spend $50 for this. Even if you were to buy something like full microtransactions, this game is also technically full of microtransactions, so it's still not a good deal. Wow, I cannot in my mind justify for anybody a suggestion to actually pre-order just for a stupid card bat. Let's see, all of Azeroth wants to brawl for you. Start with a small deck, recruit as you go, and send them to fight over and over again. These are interesting outfits. I didn't realize that the demon lady was wearing a bikini, and for the most part some of these characters aren't wearing pants at all. The chicken doesn't seem to be wearing pants, the worm doesn't. So I'd like to look at that card at some point, and we'll just be getting another one of these cards. So play the Shaman, select go. I think I would say we probably have a average amount of news today, but I also would just like to move on. I've finally, in last night, I started to play Rise of the Tomb Raider. To start with, I will say that Rise of the Tomb Raider is slightly disappointing a game in its graphic fidelity. It was the game right after the big AAA game that came out right after The Witcher 3, which was the game I got with my GTX 970. And compared to The Witcher 3 and on my graphics card, the graphics don't look that good. There were also several delays when it came out that caused me to lose interest in having that specific, let's see, that specific game in yeah. So it's taken me longer than it probably should to get around to Rise of the Tomb Raider. But I didn't realize these only lasted for 1 turn. Well, then I shouldn't have done that, should I? But I'm playing it, and it seems like it's fine. It's just Rise of the Tomb Raider to begin with. Seems like it's crammed with a unnecessary microtransaction laden what would you call it even? Multiplayer endurance mode built in. I don't think I'm actually going to play any Shaman cards doing this. Oh well. But I just barely am like 2 hours into the gameplay, and I'm still in the tutorialization. That it's also rather slow. So there's really not a lot to say about Rise of the Tomb Raider. I'm very possibly will get warmed up to it and start playing. I haven't even had a single firefight or fight with any kind of animals yet, and which I imagine is gonna happen. I spent an extra hour wandering around an area just to eventually realize that area is going to have require me to come back to it at some point. Oh no. It changes. So I need to get the mana addict in the field. So first continuation, the game Zenki Zero is 60% complete. I don't know why you would come out, even as a Japanese video game company, and announce that your game is 60% complete, but I suppose this was just an interview by Gemetsu. I was listening to Giant Bomb yesterday, for the most part, and they're wrapping up for the end of the year stuff. And even before that, though, probably for the past couple of months, I've started to realize that I'm covering more news than they are. Like the things they talk about are the exact same things that I've been able to find in other places. They don't seem to have any like breaking news. The one guy that worked there that now works for Kotaku, or went to work for Kotaku and may not even work for Kotaku anymore, seems like he was the only one that was actually pursuing any new articles, and now it's gotten down to the point where not only are they doing the exact same thing that I am doing as one person, and they have all of CBS behind them, they're doing it worse. I mean, they're literally not covering as many stories as I am. Now, a lot of the stories I'm covering are certainly a lot of these Japanese games that just get a new bit of information about them over and over again, like Zenki Zero. I would have thought it would have taken me a little bit longer to find more sources for news, and I still most definitely do want more bits of news to talk about, because it can be very boring at times. As I'm losing here. But I'm also rather disappointed with a lot of the places that I was collecting news from, because I'm now realizing that I've just been going to middleman, and now that I've cut the middleman out, there's no reason to enjoy the thing I used to enjoy. Here's a story. So Evan Wingren of KeyBank Capital, spelled B-A-N-C, KeyBank, K-E-Y-B-A-N-C, one word, Capital Markets, says Star Wars Battlefront 2 created a perfect storm for overreaction, and that gamers aren't overcharged, they're undercharged. So if you want to go throw some Rotten Tomatoes at somebody, I would never encourage harassing a person, but here is an exact person who is part of the problem. He is a investment analyst guy that probably has never played a game in his life, if I was just to speculate, and he only sees video games as a way to milk and trick players into gambling and spending more and more money. Now, will this trade? Oh, it did trade. So if I'm gonna play these shaman cards, I have to get something I can play that turn. Interesting. That being said, you could almost certainly find a financial analyst who will say anything whatsoever just to get some coverage and get some views on their boring financial analysis. Let's do this. Play this. Do that. In the turn. If I was to take a step back and not have a personal investment in video games ruining themselves by being greedy, which, let's face it, that's exactly what the movie theaters have done. That's exactly what the TV stations have done. There's more and more commercials in between TV episodes. There's more and more commercials and higher prices at movie theaters. There's no way you really get around that thought. Let's see. Let's do this. And then do this. And then do this. Just play the cards. And when you combine that with the fact that video games are already making more money than the movie industry, like, there really is no other entertainment industry that's making more money than video games right now. It is the biggest industry, and so it has to be the leader. And the last thing it needs to lead all other entertainment industries down is the path of treating their customers poorly. Let's see. Yeah, and there's no reason to even do anything different. So no, I don't think they're undercharged. I think video games are incredibly expensive considering that there's more and more to pick from, and that's a good thing to a certain point, but at a certain point you run into all of Steam having every game for 99 cents and nobody able to actually sustain a career, and then we would have a talent bleed, and that would be the back end of a problem in the video game industry, is if all the video game developers, programmers, artists, and such leave the industry because none of them can make a living wage even on there. We're not anywhere to that point, but it is very difficult, even at this point, to make a good life making video games. You work very hard to get paid a decent salary, but not an incredibly high salary. And at a certain point, studies have definitely shown that after you have enough money, it doesn't matter to you if you have more money. Like, once you have enough to pay all your bills and live a comfortable, happy life, getting another 10% raise, 20% raise, even a 200% raise, 400% raise, even 1,000 times raise, like, it doesn't matter. Money stops being an issue once it stops being an issue. And so, even though video game programmers in particular are paid well, the fact that it takes too much of their time is part of the problem. There is a huge opportunity to do the one thing no company wants to do, which is to double your staff of programmers and cut the hours in half, instead of giving more money to the current programmers. uh, and that would probably help the entire economy pretty well. Also, but a company like EA getting your money in particular is a terrible idea, because it's clearly going to investors. It's clearly going to upper management people. It's not going to the programmers and the people that actually make the game, because EA is one of the worst offenders of buying companies and then firing and shutting down the company, firing all the employees and shutting down the company. So why in the world would you want to support a company like that if you can avoid it? Even at that, Battlefront 2 still doesn't strike me as a good game. Like, it gets forgotten just to point out, you know, Battlefront 2 kind of sucks as a game. It's got a short single player scenario that isn't that interesting. The multiplayer requires a ton of grind to unlock characters you actually want to play. Most of the things you do unlock are boring, from what I hear, and undesirable. There's no fun to be had in Battlefront 2 at all. Let's move on to the next bit of news. If we finish early today, that's fine. I said it before, but I'll say it again, that with the Thanksgiving holiday, that I'm pretty much gonna just attempt to moderate the amount of work I do this week and try to take off this week as much as possible while still live streaming. Of course, in the bigger picture, I am sort of taking off all of winter, and that may just be the way things go. It may be just kind of a working vacation for all of October, November, and December, because I just don't feel like working as much in the winter. I even had that problem before I was a YouTube streamer. Then when I was working other jobs, I just didn't feel like working as much during the winter. It's harder to get out of bed. It's harder to be motivated to do things. Let's just play a bunch of chickens. I suppose most of these female characters you wouldn't be able to tell if they were wearing a skirt or long pants anyways. The images are so small and they cut off around the hip. But that is the one thing about Hearthstone compared to a more Japanese style card game, that there's never been really this idea of them not trying to be family friendly. They're definitely trying to be family friendly. You can tell that in their ad that looked like a Pixar movie, that they totally want kids to play this game, and that's why you don't see any blood. That's why we don't see really major acts of violence, and that's why we don't see any sensual dress. It's very sanitized, but also it would be very easy to not recognize that. Let's see. Sega has announced an adventure RPG called Wonder Gravity for smartphones, and let's watch the trailer, because the still image looked interesting, but like that probably doesn't mean much of anything as far as what the actual game on smartphones look like. Smartphones still really aren't there. I was just thinking earlier today that we should and Windows wants to restart for Windows Update. Thank you, game. That's annoying. Oops, I picked the wrong thing. I'm just doing everything wrong. Smartphones are kind of to the point where they could be done and they need longer life. So replaceable batteries, things we can have for a minimum of 5 years without it feeling horrible. But on the other hand, if we started pushing good mobile games on smartphones, and it was kind of like the PC market where the vast majority of people who have PCs or game on PCs are running very simplistic games like Hearthstone that can run on laptops, and then the hardcore PC gamers have smartphones that are like the most expensive thing you can have. That might slowly continue the desire for more and more powerful smartphones. At this point in my life, my smartphone is good enough. Like, I don't play a ton of games on it. It's hard, frankly, to find good games to play on it over the vast majority of garbage. Let's see, let's do that. Three to the adjacent. And 1 health. And in the turn. So, yeah. No real information in that trailer about what this game is about. Let's see. It seems sort of like the other game where you had gravity-based abilities. What was that one called? Gravity Rush, I believe, was the name of that game. But yeah, there's really no information about that, so let's just move on. Valve is tweaking the Steam reviews again, that foreground more helpful feedback. Okay, that's nice. A lot of the posts on Valve are short joke responses, like good, or just short responses that don't give you any detail, that say good, bad, sucks, things like that. I suppose in a way this might be an effort to stop brigading or counter brigading, but maybe not. Like, it probably would counter low quality posts. It's still easy enough for somebody to copy and paste a statement that this game has microtransactions and we hate it because of the microtransactions in a longer explanation. But yeah, I do certainly see a lot of games that have reviews that just say good or bad. Neverwinter Nights has a enhanced edition with improved graphics and backwards compatibility with the old saves and mods. So it seems like they just changed the textures. Neverwinter Nights. Let's watch a video of that because I've definitely heard of this game. I think it's a little old, very old. It starts off with Dungeons and Dragons. Is it a Dungeons and Dragons game? It looks like a very so if I play the coin now and do this and this, yeah, Neverwinter Nights looks like something that you would have played about 10 or 15 years ago. It doesn't strike me as something that would catch a new player's interest. But I imagine if people have interest in it or nostalgia for it, they'll want to play it. Seems like it's only on Good Old Games, and it does definitely seem like a game that deserves to be on Good Old Games. And I guess at a certain point, that's what's going to happen, is all the games on Steam are going to be relatively new, and then all the really old games are going to end up on Good Old Games. A game called The Last Blade 2 is now available. And apparently there's some kind of Steam Awards going on in Steam. We'll look at that in a second. Last Blade 2 is a fighter game that that is in the vein of something like a Street Fighter, but it's with samurai swords and more of a Japanese style to it. I really don't know how much room there is for games like this in the fighting community, since I'm outside of the fighting community. The Last Blade 2 under about this game is SNK's legendary weapons-based fighting game, which was originally released in 1998 on SNK's Neo Geo game system as a sequel to the predecessor, The Last Blade. So this is a port of a Neo Geo game, and that's why I don't recognize it. I would have said it frankly looks like a brand new game. So that's surprising. So Steam's autumn sale, I can now see, is going on a day early. I've already ended up spending some extra money on Black Friday sales, buying a couple of lightning deals on Amazon.com for Raspberry Pi 3 cases, of all things, that I wouldn't have thought they would have been lightning deals. So I'm not sure how much of this autumn sale I'm really going to spend money on. I'm frankly getting to the point where 40 to 50% of everything on sale I already own. Travis was talking last time whether I take donations, and I said it poorly and hadn't really thought it all the way through. But the idea of people buying games they want to see me eventually play is probably the best way to support me. If people want to buy me pre-orders of packs or see me open packs if they love my Hearthstone stream and that's all they care about, then that works too. Having even more packs when the new expansion happens would be beneficial. It'll start me further along. Things that are on sale, like Hob, is 25% off right now, but I imagine that'll go down a lot more. The Fallout franchise is between 50 and 75%. The Resident Evil franchise is up to 87% off. I bet none of the main games are 80% off. Shadow of War is 40% off. I typically want to see 90% off, but they've gotten bad about that, so you don't see that as much. Dark Souls 3 is 60% off. They're also doing nominate games for the Steam Awards, which I suppose that'll give you some trading cards. The Witness, the Blaze Blue Centrification, YouTuber's Life in Autumn is on sale. Batman, The Enemy Within with the Telltale game inside. Let's see. Star Trek Bridge Crew, if you have that. The Evil Within 2 is on sale, so I need to play the Evil Within and on the Evil Within first. I thought I saw Bombing Crew for sale, but no, I guess it's this game called Ultra Wings, which that too kind of looks like a Pilot Wings ripoff. The Steam Link is 90% off, so for $5 you can get the Steam Link as a streaming device. However, that is not as good of a deal as you would think, because you're gonna last time I tried that, you're gonna have to pay like $11 in shipping and handling. So even if you do buy it, you're gonna end up paying a lot in shipping and handling. The Steam controller is still $33, which makes it, even at 33% off, too expensive. Nier Automata is at 40% off. That's a good price for a very new game. Prey is down to $20. That's a game I wanted to play, but not a huge deal. Under 10 category, we've got Rocket League and Deus Ex Mankind Divided, another game I'd like to play, so like I could see doing that. I don't think I would ever play South Park The Stick of Truth myself, but it's there. Under $10. Rust Tabletop Simulator. It's a game I probably want, but wouldn't ever actually play because I wouldn't have anybody to play it with, so I'd do like a spotlight on that. Human Fall Flat is $8. People seem to like that. And I'm not logged in right now, so I don't see any really recommendations. And until I'm logged in on the webpage, which it just always logs me out, that's why I'm not logged in, I wouldn't be able to see what other elements to the autumn sale happen. But I imagine it's gonna be some typical stuff. Code Vein has some more cinematics and a grueling boss fight in a new video labeled Misbehave from the Golden Joysticks Awards trailer. So this was a trailer at the awards. Code Vein being the vampire anime game that's supposed to be the next Dark Souls-like game. It's a little funny that they went from a very fantasy and more accessible to the West style game like Demon Souls and Dark Souls, and then they came in and said, you know what we need to add to this to make it more popular to the Japanese market? We need more we need more anime in it. We need vampires and we need anime. I mean, both sound kind of terrible ideas. Like it's just Dante from Devil May Cry, or like, well, there's actually quite a few animes about vampires too that this could be ripping off or doing the same thing as those. So yeah, Code Vein actually doesn't look as interesting to me as another Dark Souls, and it probably won't sell that way that well. Deal 4 to a minion, give it health. And I guess I'll just go ahead and attack and end the turn. I don't think I'm actually going to succeed too great here. I don't know how to fix this. Like, I guess I have to get the Tavern Brawls. No, if I don't get the Tavern Brawls, that daily quest is going to sit around forever. So I'm going to beat my head against that for quite a while. and I kind of have to get the Shaman wins. So I'm thinking maybe just switch to the European account already. Yeah. And then come back and in the post game deal with that. Because there's not even that much news. Cost one less for each thing you've overloaded. Under Night in Birth EXE late bracket S launches February 9th in North America. This is another one of those fighting games. December must be the month for releasing fighting games. Or, well, I guess not. It must be the month for announcing fighting games. Why there's so much competition right now, I don't know. It's not like there's been a huge resurgence of arcades. Maybe in Japan there has been a resurgence of arcades games, or a fighting game scene, or maybe it's just a push to esports. But it seems like there's a little too many of these. But maybe it's always been the case that there's been a lot of them, and I've just haven't been paying attention. Here's a story. EA developers dial down microtransaction pressure in the latest Need for Speed. Which is to say, the update is it lowers pressure players feel to spend real money via spin points premium currency to speed up the progression. This change comes amidst the fury of updates aimed at similarly easing players' progression through Star Wars Battlefront 2. So EA, in kind of the first attempt that's actually been done well, managed to put out a patch to make the game less focused on microtransactions, whereas Battlefront 2 has just temporarily turned off microtransactions and plans to turn them back on and as soon as nobody's looking. Tencent has allegedly, I'm going to say allegedly here because who knows what's happening in China's economy for real, become the first Chinese tech company to break $500 billion market cap. So it is now within the likes of Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, and Apple. And we shall see. I suppose is all I really even want to say with that. Is just we shall see if that's true. And we'll see how long that lasts. Tencent is one of the scariest, in my mind, underlying threats to the video game industry. Having a mega corporation that owns, I believe they already own League of Legends, but if they owned a significant portion of the video game companies, and then they use that influence to change how video game companies are made, in line and in accordance with Chinese way of thinking and Chinese law, that could hurt the industry quite a bit. Like, there's a ton of Chinese games that are only sold in Mandarin language already because they have no interest in the West and they don't pander to the West. And we've seen that with the movie industry very much, where the movie industry is definitely trying to make movies that are more appealing in China than anywhere else. They say they're looking for movies for world appeal, but really it's just China that's the big factor. Sure, they'd love the movies to succeed in other countries, but the numbers just aren't there for it to matter. PC Gamer has a lot of Black Friday deals listed with their affiliate links for mice and keyboards and all of that. I've been looking particularly at the Amazon.com Black Friday deals so far. Not a ton of good deals when you're just talking computers and electronics and video games. I've been following slickdeals.net for sales too, and so far there hasn't been a ton of things either. I think people are gonna wait a little bit until the actual Black Friday to announce things, and very possibly they're going to decide to not do as good of a deals as you might have seen in other years. There was something else about the deals. They may also wait till Cyber Monday for some deals. I know particularly even Lego doesn't seem like they are doing double VIP points, which is kind of the only good deal that they ever give anybody, is double VIP points, with their VIP system already being pretty bad, because 100 points is $100 worth of spending, which gives you like a $5 off on your next purchase. So even if you double that to $10 off your next purchase, that's a 10% discount that usually most companies will give you a 10% discount any day of the week. However, in the case of Lego in particular, if you're buying Legos for kids, you do have this element of you actually have to get those toys in on time for Christmas, or your children are going to be very upset with you. Let's see. Eurogamer has another Black Friday list, and there's not a ton of things. Like, not a ton of things. I'm not terribly upset with the idea of Black Friday not having sales either, though, because getting rid of the Black Friday hysteria isn't a terrible idea. Yeah, I'm going to be done with the news pretty quickly here, so after this game, we're just going to switch over to the European account and show that off, and then we'll probably just show off the Asian account after one game on the European account, and then we'll be done for the day. We're not going to go big. Let's just play as many shaming cards as possible. There's a new trailer for the Idolmaster Stella Stage Sheikah Idol, which probably doesn't mean too much until we know that the Idolmaster game, that particular one, is even coming to the West, which I'm not sure. I don't think that's been announced yet. It's coming to PlayStation 4 in Japan on the 21st of December. There's a job listing here for Remedy Entertainment for Senior AI Programmer. I think we'll put that one off for Friday. Final Fantasy 12, The Zodiac Age, has a update that launches November 22nd that adds the Sky Pirates Den. Final Fantasy 12, The Zodiac Age is the remastered sped up version, I believe, of Final Fantasy 12. It's available now for the PlayStation 4, I believe in all regions. Right. If they did speed up all of the old Final Fantasy games, that certainly would help me if I ever get around to actually playing them. Alright, let's see what we did. So, worst case scenario, I will finish the Shaman cards. And probably even finish the Tavern Brawls. But what I could probably do is come back here and play Mage in Tavern Brawl after I get the Shaman cards played and get all 3 of these done. Not that I really need all 3 of them done. I only need 2 to last me until Friday. But there's really no reason specifically to have a longer stream on Friday than Wednesday. If anything, it's the exact opposite. I should have longer streams on Wednesday when there's a higher chance of people actually seeing things. Ooh, and I had a watch and learn and a challenge and friend. Oh, gosh. So I've got nothing here. Trade out this one. 3 victories of any class, a watch and learn, and a challenge a friend. So I'm probably, even after the post show, I'm probably going to need to come into this, and I guess maybe what I could do is try to do a Tavern Brawl. See how the mage works here, and then friend everybody I play, try to get somebody new, try to challenge them, and get the challenge a friend done, and then while that same person is still playing, watch them and get a watch a friend. There's an experimental indie game called Nour, N-O-U-R, where it's like food physics. So I'm seeing pictures of a Japanese ramen bowl with the noodles dropping in from the sky and all the other parts of the ramen being added. And apparently there's some bubble tea, and I've seen this demo before where it's a bunch of toasters shooting out toast, and I wasn't very impressed at that point. This is a Kickstarter game. Here's a physics of popcorn. In a weird way, at the very least, this Kickstarter, if he's actually doing work that could be sold and used in other games. One of the things I noticed at the very beginning of playing Rise of the Tomb Raider is the fact that the snow just does not compact the way it should. It just doesn't look right. It's a little too low polygon and lacks physics of 1,000 or millions of snow particles being stepped on by a shoe. So the footprints in the snow look pretty bad right at the beginning, and I imagine it won't even really be used that much once we start getting into the regular game, the main game parts. Yeah, but as a game, this game, NOUR, still looks like it's nothing. But as the idea of improving physics on smaller actions, that's actually something new to do. Spell damage +1. And this. And this. And this. We can just go ahead and Galgun 2 has a debut trailer and some more screenshots. I wanted to see this just to see what if anything new is being introduced to it. I bet the game is, for the most part, not any different than the first game. There are specific characters that you're going to be encouraged to try to date, whereas the vast majority of the characters are just unimportant people, unimportant girls that you shoot with your gal gun to stop them from falling in love with you or make them fall in love with you. I forget which was the case. It's really an on-rail shooting game, just with a different idea. There seems to be a new tornado gun that sucks the love away from people. Or sucks the clothes off people. A lot of differently haired Japanese schoolgirls in this game, which is interesting considering there was just a few weeks ago a story of an Okinawa school that forced one of the students to dye their hair black to the point where she was getting like terrible rashes on her hair, and harassed her about it to the point where she sued him, or is in the process of suing them. Because in Japan, everybody is supposed to have black hair and brown eyes. Everybody's supposed to be the same by rule of the school, rule of law. They just don't understand the idea or appreciate the idea of diversity in anything outside of their anime. Which is, it's always worth realizing that too, is that anime is the exception. It is the niche. It is the weird fan stories of a small niche of Japanese people. It is not the desire and love and the way Japanese people act or anything like that. Anyways, Galgun is coming to the PS4 and Switch on March 15th in Japan and probably the rest of the world. Like, I wouldn't even be surprised if it came to the Switch in the West. Because they're trying to get as many different games on the Switch right now as possible. Players have discovered that Bloodborne was missing a monster in game 3 years after its release. So there was like an unfinished monster that they found, and that's very interesting. Sometimes I've heard video game developers say that there are secrets that you still have yet to find years and years later in their games, but it's often hard to believe that it's any big secret if nobody's found it or the game was that popular. Because you would think a game as popular as Bloodborne, they would have been all the way through the whole thing and seen everything there is to see about it. Naruto X Boruto Ninja Voltage is now available worldwide. Which, let's see, what is it on? On iOS and Android. That explains why it just kind of snuck up on me. Cell phone games have yet to get to the point where they're announcing games early enough that you see anything. It's a cell phone game around Naruto and Boruto. Boruto being, I believe, Naruto's son, and it's, I would say, alright at best. Not that interesting. Let's see. Let's see. The game After Lydia and Sorelli for the Switch has some more videos out there, and this was one of those games that I wanted to see some more gameplay of to see what it was about. This one seems like another one of those games that has mostly a 3D RPG, but also has some visual novel and puzzle elements. So, not 100% certain. And see, that certainly felt like he just got tired of playing and quit. Alright, we need to add friend, add this guy. Let's see, add friend. I think I have to hit enter. Yeah, you have to hit enter for the friend request. So I've got 2 of these now. Let's see, maybe he'll accept the friend request really quickly so we can do a challenge a friend and a watch and learn. Yeah, so as far as that game, as far as either Lydia and Sorelli for the Switch and the PS Vita, it still doesn't seem to be completely clear what that game is. There was a game called Hidden Agenda that used full motion video. I'm probably still likely to play a full motion video game, even though this one did seem like it was kind of bad. Not exactly what I wanted. But yeah. Even a bad full motion video often has something worth playing. And it seems like he's not going to accept that friend request, so man, I need more people to log into the European account. Let's go ahead and switch over to the Asian account. We're just going to go long today and then move on to the post-show. GameStop's earnings have risen thanks to the demand for new games and the Nintendo Switch, which, of course, that makes sense. Like, right now, there's been a lot of new games, and there's been a lot of Switches, a lot of interest in the Switch because of new games, particularly for the Switch, but other new games for other consoles too. Doesn't seem like I'm going to be able to trade this, so combo cards and divine shielded minion cards aren't going to particularly work that well. But we can see, we can play Paladin, and I suppose that just tells me that what I can do is win one Tavern Brawl and then move on and get the Divine Shield cards played by playing a regular ranked game. I'm looking at some new gameplay for the Four Night Princesses training story, which was a game we've seen a lot of, but I wasn't certain how it was going to play, and it seems like now it's more of a top-down 2D RPG brawler, which I think I kind of already knew that, so I may have already seen this information, but now I'm locking in my head the understanding of this game. It would be nicer, certainly, for Gametsu and Gamasutra in particular to make a concerted effort to always to always have a full and complete report about a game before they talk about it, instead of putting 20 different news reports out there that barely say anything each time. But also that's how they get their views, and I know what they're doing, and I know they won't stop. Four Nights Princesses looks like it might be interesting. It's due on the PS4, Switch, and PS Vita in Japan on January 25th. I'm sure that's not the last time we'll hear about it. There's more information about Attack on Titan 2 as far as characters that you will be able to see or play as. I don't know why there is an Attack on Titan 2 video game. It seems like at a certain level you would just have done everything that you would want to do in a game like that. I guess maybe they introduce new weapons or new enemies. I imagine an Attack on Titan game is probably pretty limited. Senran Kagura Shinobi Refile. Senran Kagura has added a Day 1 DLC character named Yumi. That seems like a little excessive, but I don't expect much different from Senran Kagura. It clearly is a game series designed around exploiting both the characters in the game and the players of the game by having sexy ninja girls be in a variety of different types of games. But it also kind of works too, because you know what you're getting. It's like one of the teenage sex movies that used to come out in the 80s, like Porky's or like Revenge of the Nerds, things like that. It has a certain just obviousness to it that makes it a cheap, bad meal, like a McDonald's burger, but sometimes you're just in the mood for a McDonald's burger. There's a demo for an RPG about a space wizard with many uncles. And it's called My Uncle Merlin. It's a Kickstarter game. Let's watch the video. It's a different art style, definitely. And then it seems half visual novel, half flying around space and doing things. It seems like it's a little too random for me, honestly. Like maybe this would work as a game, maybe this won't. Again, I wouldn't recommend anybody ever fund a Kickstarter, but let's see. Didn't quite do that correctly. Let's see. And I think we are done with the news, and we're about 20 minutes over. Let's see if there's any new Humble Bundle. Well, they've changed it. They've changed their website again, it seems. Right now, there seems to not even be a Humble Bundle for any games. There's just 2 books bundles and 1 comic bundle. And I wonder if that is it. Like, if that is just what you're going to get as far as bundles, and then it's just going to push you to a humble store that is just going to be a different facade for Fanatical, which is the IGN version. I don't want to say it's IGN owned because that's not accurate. Humble Bundle is also owned by IGN, so go ahead and get rid of that. So at a certain point I might get rid of the Humble Bundle, as my marker is the last thing on my list of tabs. Let's see. Here's an article from PC Gamer. Nier Automata still needs a patch 8 months later. That's certainly true. 20% off Black Friday sale at Giant Bomb if you want to buy any of their merch or their premium stuff. I don't think it's worth it, honestly. For what they give free, I am not given I'm not given any indication that I would want to I'd want to invest further in it. Even if they are making really good content on the premium side, they don't ever give you any like free previews of that good content, so I have no way of believing that to be true. They're really dropping the ball as far as just here's a free weekend, here's the free first episode, here's this, so you know what we're doing. Here's an adventure game where your partner is a talking dog and you're hunting Jack the Ripper. Interesting. Let's see. Scum VM release 2.0 is gone into testing. Interesting. So I'm not sure exactly what would be in Scum VM 2.0. Maybe a lot, actually. The game Finding Paradise has a new release date and an unexpected trailer. Never heard of that game. Duke Nukem is 66% off on Steam, according to Duke Nukem's Twitter account. Let's see. What else have we got besides Defeat? I've started putting out all the games I got free spotlights, and that'll be interesting to see if any of those get any attention at all. And since I wasn't even interested in the games for the most part. Australian analysts say loot boxes constitute gambling by the legal definition. Finland has made steps to also call it gambling, and so has Hawaii. So there's no less than 3 entities, legal bodies, that have come in and said loot boxes are gambling. And mostly I'm just opening articles here that don't even matter enough to mention today. Yep. I want to get to Rise of the Tomb Raider, and because of that, I want to just get through all of this as quickly as possible. I'm not sure how easy that's going to be, but I think we're ready for the post-show. Yeah, there's really nothing super important that needs to be talked about. I'm still scrolling down. I haven't been very good about following the Twitter feeds either. Nobody came on the chat. Not surprised. Everybody's busy. Like, clearly, if there were ever 2 streams that aren't going to get views, it's going to be the one before and after Thanksgiving, for at least for the month of November. I imagine I won't get very many views. Let's see. Net neutrality is trying to be dismantled. That's an important thing. Obviously, people kind of knew that was what they were going to try to do, is sneak it in during Thanksgiving, so nobody pays any attention to it. But yeah, they're trying to Ajit Patai or Pajai or whatever his name is, the guy of the FCC who was a lawyer for Verizon, is trying to completely destroy net neutrality, so AT&T and Verizon and all the other internet providers can charge everybody involved more money and ruin the internet as it is. So, like, I'd recommend everybody do their research, contact their local congressmen, senators, things like that, and see if we can put enough influence to say those people will get voted out if net neutrality gets repealed as a concept. And of course, I probably haven't done enough research to fully know the exact truth of the scenario, but I'm pretty sure I know what's going on there. Man, there's a lot of battleforthenet.com is where you can find more information about net neutrality. And there's a lot of news here, but none of it's important. Most of it is just the same things: Steam summer autumn sales and such. Come on. Let me see something they've seen before, so I know I'm done. And I know I'm not playing right now, sorry. This is a great example of why I play Hearthstone when I'm talking. Though if I just sat here and talked, I'm not sure anybody would be interested at all. I wouldn't find it interesting personally. So many news articles came out right as I started streaming, apparently. Black Friday sales everywhere. Wonder if it's already Black Friday in, like, Australia. It must be. Must have hit a point where at some point in the world it already is Black Friday. And that's why. I am still scrolling. Scroll. Hmm. Wow, it's still going. This is the longest Twitter scroll I've ever had. Like, normally it cuts you off. It just says, no, there's no more news. We're not loading anything more for you to see. And I can scroll all the way down to the bottom. But so many things have happened in the past few hours. Either that or Twitter has changed how it works. Twitter is in a weird one because I don't even understand how it exactly works. I don't know if I'm actually seeing all of the tweets or just all of the really popular ones or what, which tells me I have no idea if people see my tweets either. That's why it's important to, one of the many reasons, there we go, finally to the end. That's one of the many reasons why people should specifically follow me on YouTube. And Nordvania live show is still going on, and Desert Bus for Hope happened over the weekend. Neither of which of those things are really important news. So that's going to be it for this recording and the live stream. Stay tuned to watch the post show. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.